Are you shocked that comedian Kevin Hart, that his plant-based, vegetarian-only fast food restaurant in California closed? All 4 locations closed. Are you surprised that that happened? Yeah, I'm not either. But let's get into the details. Let's see how the media is handling it. Or not. Here we go. You know, as a small business owner, I never want to see somebody else's business fail. Unless it's something like a fast food vegetarian restaurant. I mean, that is such a bad target, right? For, oh, that one failed. I'm shocked. I'm surprised that it's not doing as well as McDonald's. What's up with that? Actor and comedian Kevin Hart has apparently found out there's nothing funny about trying to run a business in leftist California. The 4 locations of Hart's mini fast food chain, there's 4 of them, Hart House, they abruptly closed their doors this week without any public explanation. When I saw this last week, I was like, that's interesting. They basically just, they put a lid on it, right? Yeah, we're not talking to the media about what's going on here, but it's a good chance the product, which is plant-based vegan foods, and California's new minimum wage law had something to do with it. Seems like anything vegan related is always on such thin ice anyway, financially, because you got such a small market share for it, right? Let's be honest. There's not that many vegans out there compared to meat eaters. Let's just put it that way, right? Maybe in California, there's more. But so many of these, stores or food places that are, we're just going to do vegan. It's only going to be vegan. It's going to be great. They go under. But more importantly, what I think it is you've got a really narrow bandwidth on what Kevin Hart was offering. Maybe it was just, fast food and vegan don't go together. Maybe there's some of that. But more importantly, it's California's new minimum wage law. That's what it is. Because you bumped expenses by 25% of what, you've gone from 15, 16 bucks to over 20 bucks an hour like that. And you think that doesn't have any impact? Yeah, absolutely it does. It's the biggest component of expense oftentimes. It's in there with rent, right? You've got this operational expense where you got to pay the folks that are doing all the business. Some people are saying, hey, robots are going to do this soon, so who cares what the minimum wage is? According to Eater LA, part of a national franchise of digital publications that cover the dining industry in 23 cities, the Hart House is closed Tuesday. The company announced the news in an Instagram post that's included little more than a picture of veggie burgers and a bad pun. I was looking for the bad pun for a little bit before I found it. All right, here is how Kevin Hart's restaurant went out. So my Hart House at the top, right? Okay. Thank you. A big double nothing burger. Man, give me a hamburger. Give me a hamburger with meat on it, right? This fake meat thing, if fake meat is your thing, or if you're intolerant to meat, whatever, hey, I feel for you, but I like my meat. I like my chicken. I just do, try and stay away from the red meat every single meal. Yeah, I get that. But sometimes you just got to do it, right? Sometimes you just got to do it. So here's what that said. It said, thank you with a green heart to our team, guests, and community who helped make the change we all craved. Well, I mean, by all craved, yes, but the consumers said, no, because otherwise this would have been pushed through and you'd still be in business. All right. Make the change we all craved. All right. A heartfelt goodbye for now as we start a new chapter. All right. Heartfelt goodbye. Okay, I get it. Yep, Kevin Hart. Heartfelt goodbye. Hey, we tried. This didn't work out. Y'all get a participation ribbon. For now, as we start a new chapter. What is that new chapter? Let us know what that new chapter. No, there's no new chapter. This is boom, done. Yeah, man, this was not probably a great idea. Vegan and fast food. When you think fast food, you think you're competing against Wendy's, competing against McDonald's. You're competing against Arby's. You're competing against Taco Time. All arguably better tasting food. than anything vegan that's going to come out in a fast food format. Right? I mean, that's just my approach to the whole thing. But in California, oh, I need some vegan food. Where can I go? Maybe that's what Kevin Hart was thinking. That's what he was thinking. He probably wasn't thinking. This is a celebrity endorsing a business that, it had its day. It lasted 2 whole years. Dos años. And then it's gone. Again, I don't want to see any businesses go under, but for everything that I see vegan, it's always like, it's janky. It's janky to me. Anyway, and I'm not vegan. So maybe you are, and maybe you've got this inside track and how your life is so much better. You're just feeling good about it and you want to let me know in the comments. Sean, I think you're wrong. That's fine too. But for me, I could never be vegan. I just wouldn't be able to get enough protein. Now, Sean, you can eat vegan. You can eat protein from plants. Yeah, it's not the same. It doesn't digest the same. It's not. No. To our team, guests, and community who helped make the change we all craved, the post stated a heartfelt goodbye. Okay. All right. Well, maybe starting a new chapter might start with finding something that a large segment of the dining population wants to eat. There you go. All right. And then the keywords there, a large segment of the dining population, and doing it in a state that isn't dedicated to destroying businesses with minimum wage laws based on leftist dreams instead of economic realities. Yeah, dedicated to destroying businesses. Has that happened? Yeah. How many businesses have we covered that have said, we can't do it in California anymore? We're out of here. Destroying businesses, minimum wage law. We knew this was going to have a massive impact in California. What was it? Pizza Hut? I think Pizza Hut, they fired a whole bunch of their fast food worker drivers because they knew they're just no go. This isn't going to be a thing. We're not going to be able to economically make it. That are based on leftist dreams. Yeah, you get this minimum wage thing. Seattle's had the same thing too. Guess how that worked out? Not all that well. Hey, why are businesses leaving? Why are businesses closing? I don't get it. I don't understand. And you're talking a minimum wage law in a state that is already wildly rampant with overregulation and incredibly high rents. You got regulation, you got high rents, you got a minimum wage law that just jacked up your basic cost to stay in business. You've got a thin, a super thin profit margin to begin with, and then you jack up your expenses. I wonder how that's going to go. We'll take the costs and we'll have the consumer absorb it in, higher price for the goods. In this case, the magic burger that has no meat in it, right? No traditional meat. It's got soy-based something. California this year implemented a minimum wage for fast food employees at $20 an hour with predictable results. Even restaurant businesses that sell widely popular products such as McDonald's, Arby's, and Subway, they've been feeling the effects of California's minimum wage insanity. Business relying on a niche market, vegan fast food, for heaven's sake, was probably already skating on thin ice. Those are my thoughts. Throw in exorbitant labor costs disconnected from the actual value of the labor involved. That's the thing with the minimum wage, is that it's worth something here. And then state comes in and says, oh no, because this is an expensive state, because we've overregulated the heck out of it, and we've constrained housing and all this other stuff that they have done. We need for those employers to pay their employees more than what that labor is actually worth, arguably. You can argue that all day. And it's a recipe for disaster. And here you go, Kevin Hart's business. Boom, done, closed. That's not how this story is going to play out in the liberal media, of course. Here's how KCAL TV, the CBS station in Los Angeles, covered it. Let's watch it. Why wouldn't we? You know what I mean? Let's get into it and see what we got going on here.
Hart House shut down all 4 of its locations this week in Hollywood, Westchester, Monrovia, and University Park South. The restaurant debuted in 2022. No word on why the chain is closing down, but the company's CEO released a statement saying, in part, "We thank our committed team, our customers, and our community partners for helping make the change we all craved and for their unwavering support of Hart House."
Do you have a better understanding now after you've watched that video by who was that? Was that was CBS? Yeah. After watching that riveting piece by CBS, do you know why Hart House closed down? Other than the fact that, it was the change that we were all craving. All who consumers who didn't patronize Hart House? Apparently so. No word on why the chain is closing down, the reporter explained helpfully and left it at that. Yeah. I mean, why even do a story if you can't give a little explanation? Oh, okay, they closed down. We have no idea why. Thanks so much. Appreciate that, CBS. Good reporting. That's a stellar effort there. Even just throw us a bone. Hey, there are other restaurants have been closing down and they've kind of gone the same way. Eater LA's report chalked Los Angeles restaurant business problems up to challenges due to the lingering effects of the pandemic. All right. Okay. Can we still claim that years and years later? I don't think so. Rising operational costs and a faltering local film and television industry. Okay. All right. Okay. Faltering local film and television industry. I can buy that for about half a second. That has been ongoing, but, not everybody in LA is, vegan and in the local film and television industry. I don't know if you know that, but yeah, that's a thing. It's not a thing. So, these are things that, and this is a business that was started 2 years ago, post-pandemic, right? Rising operational costs. These were known quantities going into opening this restaurant, and a faltering local film and television industry that has been ongoing for years, right? It just has. It's too expensive to do anything in California, especially when you got a nothing burger. But I hasten to add that the state of California is experiencing a significant boost in fast food jobs, even as the state's mandated minimum wage increased from $15.50 an hour to $20 an hour in April 2024. That literally unbelievable claim is based on numbers from the California Bureau of Labor Statistics and touted by Governor Gavin Newsom in an August news release. So you've got these news stories. Oh, yeah, we're bringing a lot of jobs in. Meanwhile, the businesses where said jobs are supposed to be, where employment is, are closing. So now, granted, you got 4 of Kevin Hart's fast food, vegan restaurant. What a terrible that just sounds like a terrible concept, doesn't it? It just sounds terrible. It just sounds awful. But that's because I'm biased. I don't really like anything vegan. When I see people talk about vegan stuff, I just, I ignore it because it's not a thing for me. It's like, all right, yeah, good luck getting that protein in there, Sparky. So Rebecca Paxton, director of research at the Employment Policies Institute, conservative think tank in D.C., told the station that California's figures are flawed because they're not complete. Seasonally adjusted. Okay, do we even care about all that? Nah, but they did get a heartfelt goodbye. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on here. We got another one. Kevin Hart's vegan restaurants have abruptly closed after 2 years. What went wrong? It's in California. It's in California, and it's a vegan fast food restaurant. End of article. Period. Move on. Right? This is interesting. As recently as February, Hart House announced intentions to add new locations to Atlanta and the Washington, D.C. Furthermore, Hooper reported at the time that the company was enjoying positive same-store sales so far in 2024, and that in 2023, sales had increased by 350% as a result of the opening of the two new sites. All right, so sales went up substantially. They opened another couple of restaurants. Now they got 4 restaurants. And then, boom, 2024 comes towards the end and they're done. They're out of business. So clearly, you get these press releases, our sales are up substantially. Well, that's good, but it's still not good enough. And boom, done, closed. Serato, right? The response to the product has been incredible. Okay. Yeah, but you just closed. So you're telling us nonsense here. Response to the product has been incredible. And we thank our committed team, our customers, and our community partners for helping make the change we all craved. Restaurant closures have plagued the industry. Yeah, we know. What do we, let's see. We got Hooters, Rubio's, Outback Steakhouse, Red Lobster. Red Lobster is because of their, unlimited, what was it? I can't remember. And Shake Shack. They've all closed. We've covered so many of those stories. Bottom line is if you got a terrible business concept, if you got a business concept that isn't viable, and then you further exacerbate that lack of being viable by having, one of your prime costs go through the roof, what do you think is going to happen? And that's what we've been saying about California for quite some time, is that if you've got a business there and you're dependent upon, labor in the form of minimum wage jobs, it's going to be a tough road to go down. And for Kevin Hart, it was boom, done. What I thought was really interesting about this one is how abruptly they closed. Just not even a contemplation of, hey, you know what? We're going to be making some changes. We're going to close this restaurant. We're going to close this store. We're going to close that store. We're going to try and hold on because we really believe that this is a viable concept and we're going to move forward with it. So literally they got through 24 months of business. They looked at the numbers, and after the minimum wage went into effect, which they would have been aware of prior to opening these restaurants, they looked at the numbers and went, holy cow, those are terrible. And then they just super quick, boom, closed overnight. And now nobody's even really reporting on it because it's a fast food vegan restaurant in California that's experiencing gyrations upward in your cost of doing business. Not that hard to figure out, is it? No. And neither is any of the other businesses and or industries that are currently leaving California. You've got them in droves. I think the only industry you've got going in that I'm aware of is you got a little AI action in San Francisco, and you've got other businesses that are going to get set up in California. And California, because it's already had so much industry, you're going to have other businesses go there, and they are going to bring in jobs. But I think you start looking at the net numbers, and you're like, this is the minimum wage and restrictions and rent and everything else. Just licensing alone in California is incredibly cost prohibitive. All of that stuff on top of the layers of fast food, vegan restaurant, kind of tells you the story, right? I mean, it's just not that hard to work out. So, closed. I wish I had a funny ending for this podcast, but you don't have to have one. A heartfelt goodbye. Okay. Kevin, you get a participation ribbon. You tried. You put your celebrity name on a restaurant chain. It failed. Better luck next time. I don't know. That's all I got. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next episode. Bye for now.